So again, what they are doing is to make our military, our Ghana Armed Forces, also partisan. When they were in opposition, they complained about taxes that the Ghanaian businessman is suffering. What do we see today? Apart from the e-levy, all taxes, including levies that we pay at our ports, remain same. They have not changed anything. I'm hereby exposing to you the hypocrisy of the NDC. VAT has not changed. In fact, for the mining companies, they have even increased the taxes, and they say because they are making profit, they have to increase it over and above what they came to meet. Now, ask yourself again about our utility. Electricity tariffs. Now, we are paying more. We are paying more than they came to meet. And even so, Dumso is back. Their other card they are playing is the persecution of NPP appointees. So, to create the impression that they are all righteous, to create the impression that the situation was bad and there was corruption, they've targeted former appointees. I want to assure them that we will never surrender. They can never use this to cow us into self-preservation, to crush the NPP spirit. To enable them achieve this, they now want to control our courts. So what are we seeing? The attempt to sack the Chief Justice. I, on behalf of the Minority Caucus, hereby say that what we're witnessing today under John Mahama-led government is a systematic and calculated assault on the independence of the judiciary. An institution that we all know is the last line of defense for the rule of law, the protection of rights, and the survival of our democratic republic. Today, what we see is intimidation, political interference, and open targeting of judges who are perceived as inconvenient and non-compliant. This is not just unacceptable, it is repugnant to good conscience. The current attacks on the Chief Justice and the broader attempt to politicize the bench must be seen for what they are. And here, our Council of State failed our democracy. They rehearsed the suspension of the Chief Justice. They got a fake research done, threw it into the air. The majority of Ghanaians want the Chief Justice sacked. Before even the Council of State received the so-called petitions, the NDC papers were all over in town saying that the Chief Justice was going to be suspended. Clearly, they had rehearsed the agenda. And if you look at the petitions, for all that I've read, I find it very unfortunate. In this country, we know that when the president, the first lady, travel, the cost is borne by the state. Same with the Speaker of Parliament. He and his immediate family going on official trip. Why will the official travel of the Chief Justice, which is backed by a judiciary policy, now become a subject matter of a kangaroo investigation? And they claim that she caused financial loss to the state, etc., etc. But I have something to tell our respected judges. Some of them, I am aware, we are aware, that are being promised by the NDC government. Today, it is Tokonu. Tomorrow, it may be them. They should listen and listen well. I want all judges in the country to know that their institution is under attack. The NDC government is approaching you, the judges, telling you that, oh, Tokonu does not have a good interpersonal relationship. She is snobbish, she is this, she is that. But I want you to know that if they allow them to use you today, tomorrow they will come after you. Act collective. It is your institution which is under attack. Our demonstration on Monday is not about our party or parties. It's about protecting the institutional integrity of our republic. It's about drawing a line in defense of the Constitution. And it's about telling those in power, you may have your term, but you do not own the state. The framers of our Constitution understood that democracy without an independent judiciary is no democracy at all. That is why we are gathering on Monday, 5th of May, to say enough is enough. To say that the people of Ghana will not sit idly by while their courts are captured. To say that the power may change hands, but the Constitution must always stand. And to the people of Ghana, our fellow countrymen and women, we invite you to join us. This is not just about the few political parties determining to go on the streets. Of course, we are going on a peaceful demonstration. This is not Parliament's fight. It is a fight for every citizen who wants to live in a country where the law is supreme and no man, no matter how powerful, is above the law. We say that there must be an end to the division and the anger of the past. This government must tread with the greatest caution, always keeping tomorrow in mind when taking decisions today, because these decisions may shape future governance. If we continue down this path, we risk creating a culture of retaliatory politics, where successive governments are more focused on settling political scores than solving problems. Last but not the least, it is obvious that the bold attempt by Mr. President to nominate out of the blue 7 judges to the Supreme Court is the first major attempt at all that they have rehearsed, a third-term agenda. All that the NDC is doing, all that our president is doing through the advice of the hawks of NDC is to set a third-term agenda for his leadership. They think that by packing the judiciary, there will be a smooth road for that third-term agenda. Were we not in this country, where even 2 Supreme Court nominees, after going through vetting and were supposed to take their approval at the plenary, the same NDC said, by adding 2 more judges to the Supreme Court bench, Nana Addo was packing the courts? Was it not the same NDC where that criticized the proposal to even nominate for appointment 5 more judges to the Supreme Court, and as a result, no further step was taken by the Judicial Council? What has changed? We leave it to the good conscience of they themselves. But I want to tell them that we will not relent. We, in Parliament, will hold their feet to the fire and fight for the ordinary Ghanaian. Please join us 5 a.m. on Monday, the 5th of May, on this peaceful demonstration. Thank you very much. God bless our homeland Ghana and make it great and strong.
We want Ghanaians to know. Indeed, the Constitutional Review Commission, which was constituted by His Excellency, the late President John Evans Atta Mills, in 2020, there was an overwhelming clarion call by the majority of Ghanaians for institutional integrity and the independence of the judiciary. This Constitutional Review Commission was set up by President John Evans Atta Mills, and his vice president at that time was none other than our city president, John Dramani Mahama. The message was that there should be institutional integrity and the independence of the judiciary. What I ask is, what is it that has changed? That there is this assault and unmitigated affront to the independence of the judiciary. This independence of the judiciary finds roots in the report of the Watson Commission, the Kuse Committee, and the 1954 Order in Council Constitution, which set the parameters for the independence of the Constitution and stipulated that a justice of the Supreme Court, or for that matter, a Chief Justice, could only be removed from office under stated misbehavior and infirmity of mind. And this should be supported by 2/3 majority of our parliamentarians in the People's Assembly. This found expression in the 1957 Constitution. It was only in 1960 that there was an aberration where the president was given the power to remove a Chief Justice by the presidential instrument under a seal. On the 24th of February 1966, there was a determined attempt, an effort to once and for all maintain the independence of the judiciary. And this is what we have seen with the 1992 Constitution, an attempt to even raise the bar for the removal of a Chief Justice, i.e., the establishment of a prima facie case. Ladies and gentlemen, I have not seen any petition. Personally, I have not seen any of the petitions. But if I should listen to what those who claim have seen and are commenting on, I ask myself so many questions. I was troubled when the Director of Communications for the NDC sat on radio and said so many things. The highlight of what he said was the foreign travel of the Chief Justice. When I heard him on radio, in fact, I was alarmed. And I said to myself, if indeed the Chief Justice knew that she was not supposed to embark on that travel with her husband and the daughter, and she did, knowing the Chief Justice for what she is, I thought she had been bewitched. Because if her travel policy did not permit her to travel with her husband and the daughter, why would the Chief Justice do that? But we have all been revealed to the truth that was the sheer propaganda that was going on to color the Chief Justice black so that Ghanaians will be fed into their political propaganda. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't need to be told. We don't need to be told what the sitting government has in store for the judiciary. They have showed their hands already. They have showed their hands already. Let us all stand up in solidarity. Let us gather at the park opposite the Supreme Court buildings on Monday, and let us demonstrate for Ghanaians to understand that we don't believe in what the President of the Republic intends doing. We believe in justice, and as we say, justice must not only be done, it must be seen to be manifestly done. Thank you all, and may God bless us.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe,
and click on the bell for more updates.